It's 9 now. Into our games feature with Gerard Campbell at stuff.co.nz, Game Junkie NZ on Twitter. Hello, Gerard.
Hello, Glenn. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Today we're looking at a game that you've been bashing about a bit. It's Resident Evil Revelations on the Nintendo 3DS.
3DS, yeah. It's there's the box. It is Capcom's, the next one. Capcom's, I guess, their survival horror series, which has been around for a while.
Yeah. Movies have come out now as well, isn't there? Movies,
yeah, movies.
Probably crap.
Some of them have been okay. Most of them have been stink.
Yeah.
And this is the first one that I've played on a handheld, and it's pretty darn good. Well, I'm finding it really good. I think it's moving back to the more, the horror aspect. Whereas I think one of the more previous ones on the home consoles sort of was a bit more actiony and a bit more, not so scary. But the one thing I must say is that something that Resident Evil Revelations uses is Nintendo's, if I can get it on the camera right, is Nintendo's new Circle Pad Pro peripheral.
Oh, what does that do?
What that does is, because one of the criticisms that I had with 3DS, and a lot of people had with Nintendo's console like this, is that it's only got one thumbstick.
Okay.
So if you're doing action games, you need to control the camera, you have a bit of trouble. So what this does, and let's see with the magic of the consoles, if I can do it, is essentially what you're doing is you're going to pop your 3DS into the Circle Pad Pro.
Yeah.
And you suddenly got this new thumbstick.
On the right-hand side.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, and you can control the camera with it. And it also gives you two, if we can see it, two trigger buttons
at the back,
because the 3DS at the back,
kind of like
right.
So kind of like the bumper buttons on a Xbox 360 or a PlayStation control.
Yeah. Well, because the 3DS has already got what they call shoulder buttons, right and left.
Yeah.
But it actually gives you more physical triggers, which is really cool, and they're called the ZL and the ZR buttons. So I've been playing Resident Evil quite a bit this week, and it's really good. It looks really good. The 3D looks really impressive, and something that I like about... Sorry, carry on.
I was just to say, but before we move on to the game, so do you think that's a design flaw in the Nintendo 3DS, that they didn't kind of have these things already loaded onto the device?
You mean the second stick?
Yeah.
I think it is, because... Well, I mean, I guess they ran into the problem because if they put a second stick on, then because we've got the face buttons there, your A, B, Y, and X buttons, then sticking a second stick on probably meant that it was going to have to be bigger.
Right.
But I mean, I've always thought with that, with the 3DS and the other DS consoles, handhelds before that there has been lacking the second stick, especially for if you want to play action games. As we know, with home consoles, with your two thumbsticks, playing action games and shooters is a lot easier with two sticks.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier. So despite the fact that I think that the Circle Pad Pro, it looks pretty ugly. I mean, it's sticking out like what on my console there, and it's a pretty bulky, and it does run. There's a AAA battery which runs it too. So obviously that runs some of the wireless capabilities in it to sort of get your button inputs. But I think it actually is quite comfortable, and it works really well.
Okay.
It's actually really good being able to control the camera. But getting about Resident Evil. First thing, that the 3D looks really impressive. The 3D actually looks really good. And with 3DS, of course, you've got to get the position just right. But once you've got it right, in your vision, the 3D looks really impressive. And most of the action takes place on an abandoned cruise ship, which conveniently I've forgotten the name of. Which is out in the Mediterranean. And in the game you're playing, you sort of swap between Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield, which are two sort of long-time Resident Evil heroes. But there's this really nice atmosphere. You're going down some corridors, and you've got, smashed windows on this cruise ship, and you've got rain coming in windows, and there's lightning, and there's good shadows.
Wow.
And as you expect, that you can hear noise, and then suddenly things will pop out. And of course, there's the usual... there has been a demo out for it on the 3DS, and in that demo, Jill Valentine's in a room, wakes up on a bed, a bathroom off that, and there's a conveniently locked cupboard, of course. You go into the bathroom, search the bathroom, and then come out of that room again, and lo and behold, something's popped out of the cupboard and it's coming to get you.
Yeah.
So there's those sorts of moments, but it actually is. I think it's harking back to the sort of the Resident Evil glory days where they were, you creep slowly, especially the cruise ship levels. That you creep slowly through, checking every corner. Things will pop out and say boo.
Do you jump out of your skin? Any of those moments where does Gerard scream?
No, I don't scream. Of course I don't scream. No, I don't scream. But, I might play with the lights on sometimes. But also, too, I think what adds to the sort of horror aspect is that ammo is in fairly short supply, too. So, the weapons that your characters will have don't have unlimited ammo. So, a couple of stages I've been called out that, my aim has been off and you've been popping caps into these monsters.
Yeah.
And suddenly you'll run out of ammo because you've just been wayward with your shooting. So,
what do? You run away?
It's a bit more tactical. Yeah, it's a bit more tactics.
Yeah.
To it that way. And also, there's a scanner that you get that you can scan these mutant creatures. There's big blobby ones and whatever. So yeah, I think that it's for the 3DS. I think that it's a really good survival horror, and it's probably one of the better ones out on the 3DS at the moment. And I see that it's doing extremely well on the British charts at the moment. So
excellent.
It's showing a bit of love on the 3DS. But you also think too that if you, I think that there may be a bundle coming. I think there is a bundle with Resident Evil Revelations and the Circle Pad Pro.
Could be
maybe bundling those together.
Worth the investment.
But the Circle Pad Pro, the Circle Pad Pro itself is only costing about $35, I think. So it's a pretty good investment if you want to add some extra manoeuvrability.
Get the full experience. Get the full.
But of course, to use it, to also use it, you've got to have games that have got to be compatible with it as well. So not all games will use it.
Gerard Campbell and his blog is up at stuff.co.nz in the technology section. Is the Game Junkie blog there, or Game Junkie NZ on Twitter. Thanks very much, Gerard.
Thanks very much. See you.
23